everybody. So this morning I was praying to Oshun, and I was just asking for forgiveness for my selfishness when it comes to love, when it comes to not noticing my defense mechanisms, and that hurts, people's feelings. In the beginning, I was a giver. Like, I just gave, without wanting it back. I just gave, And at some point in my life, I started to notice that I built up a defense mechanism. And that defense mechanism was, I would give, but then I would expect something back. And when I didn't get what I wanted, or when I didn't get the perfection that I require as a Virgo, I would become manipulative, and I would become harsh with my words, and I had to build that wall up because I was giving so much and people were just taking, and running. Every time I would give, they would take it, and I would be like, okay, they have to stick around because that was genuine love that I just gave them. That's rare, and I'm giving it out, because I believe in love. And then they would just run with it, and then come back when they need it again, and so I had to deconstruct the wall and figure out where the base was built. Like, why? When did I become this way? At what point? At what cycle in my karmic debt did that change? So that I can go back and try to fix that, and from a psychological perspective, it's like that behavior is breeding like sociopathic tendencies in love. And I mean, it's not just me, it's just like, you are, as a child, you are a loving, kind, sweet, beautiful soul, and you're just giving love and emitting your own frequency. And at some point in your childhood or your preteen is when there's a switch that turns on, that you start absorbing other people's frequency instead of making your own and emitting your own. So delineating and figuring out where that shift happens will allow you to go back to that point in time and feel that frequency and basically get it back so you can emit it once again. Because I don't like my behavior when it comes to love. I don't like it at all. Everything's peachy clean, everything's peachy keen until I don't get something that I want. And then when I don't get something that I want, I become a little bit like, I'm leaving, like, type thing. Instead of being like patient when I don't get something that I want, I just turn into fucking the runner. And it's like, that type of behavior is not acceptable in a relationship. So it's like, if I can't even have a relationship with my own self without running, what makes me think that I'm gonna have a relationship with someone that I love without giving up, like if we're in an argument or something like that, and then I'm just like, oh, you don't understand my point, I'm done. And those words are not just like small words. I'm done means like that other person's heart drops to the pit of their stomach, you know? And then after a while of you saying I'm done, that means that they start to lose the respect for you, because you're saying that you're done, but you're not leaving. You're using it as a manipulative mind game trick in order to get them to do what you say. I'm sorry, my bad. And that's like very fucked up for that other person, you know? It's like fucked up. So you just have to understand, and you have to treat that person, you know, with the utmost respect, even if you're hurt, you know? So that's why you can't be in a relationship without fixing yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to work on yourself on a daily. You got to deconstruct these walls that you're putting up in order for you to have a more successful relationship. Like, if you want a 20 and 30 year relationship, you know what I'm saying, you can't just be like, I'm done every second, or like that you backing off or anything like that. You have to go through the trials and the tribulations in order to appreciate the blessing that comes along with loving somebody without like borders, without like stipulations, you know? So when you don't get something that you want from them, you know, that is okay, you know, because you know at the end of the day that God got your back, you know, Shun got your back when it comes to love, because you were respectable and you were going to her with your issues. You were going to her, you know, asking for help with love and loving yourself. So fucking, like, it's key. Like, would you disrespect yourself enough? Like, if you can't afford those pair of shoes, would you be like, well, anyway, I'm done with you? No, you can't be done with yourself, just like you can't be done with your partner just because they can't provide you something emotionally at that time. So anyway, this video is just like, everything is not going to be peachy clean in the results of love. We are still human beings. We are flawed. We are indefinitely flawed until we, you know, until we learn our lessons. You know, we pay back our karmic debt to society, you know. So anyways, we just have to be aware and on a lookout for our own manipulative tendencies when it comes to love. You know that by bringing up this person's this is going to push this button, so you push the button and expect that person to still respect you. It's like, no, you're acting out like a child. And until you realize that you're acting out like a child and start to change those patterns, then you're still going to be having to learn this lesson, which means that you can't have what you want. You can't have the person that you want because you are still displaying the same sociopathic tendencies in a relationship you're not even in. So learn to respect yourself enough to go into your mind and ask, when did I turn into this person? When did I turn into the person who would basically manipulate my partner into giving me everything that I want, you know? And I don't know, it all just leads me back to childhood memories. Like everything leads back to the development of your who you are as a child. And when I was a child, you know, I was very shy and sweet and kind and stuff like that, you know, and I found that by being that way, I could get what I want, you know, and I would also fade out in the background so no one would notice me, you know, but then I would speak up when I wanted something, because my grandma always said a closed mouth does not get fed. So but then I noticed that when I started to be a little bit more like, you know, manipulative by like going around and asking my dad for something, but my dad says no, so I go to my mom, and my mom says, oh yes, you can, because you're being so sweet. That was like the first indication of, damn, I can get what I want by being a sweet person, you know? Instead of being like, I'm being sweet for the sake of being sweet, you know? And I, you know, noticed that as an adult, as a teenager, that I would do that too. And so I started to, you know, I started to get messages and things like that. It's just like, why aren't you being genuine? Like, why are you only doing this because you want something? And I'm like, you're right. So I actually would go up to my mother and I would be like, look, I'm sorry. I really am. I'm just a teenager right now, but that was very manipulative of me and I shouldn't have done it, and I apologize. And my mother would just be like shocked at the maturity that I showed. And so I'm like, I need to get back to that. Like, being mature in love and being mature in when I don't get what I want. You know, and this test that I'm being taught is patience, but it's genuine patience. It's not like I'm gonna be patient until I get what I want. No, baby girl, sweet thing, you need to slow the fuck down, because it's not patience for the sake of patience. It's patience because as long as you're going to try to manipulate the powers that be by saying you're patient but not really being patient, you ain't gonna get what the fuck you want. You need to understand and you need to learn your lesson. So today my lesson was genuine, being genuine when I am giving love and not expecting it back, you know. But I do also believe in polarity, you know. So if you're good to me, I'm going to give you good. But there's also the other aspect of, if you are mean, if you are bad, I'm going to give you love until you show me your true colors, and then I'm going to tell you that's not acceptable. If you do this, this, and this again, it's over. Friendship, family member, I don't give a fuck who you are. Boyfriend, girlfriend, I don't care. As long as you know that this is a stipulation of mine and you're not pushing this button, we're going to be on the good give and take route. Like, that's where we're going to be. You know, so I do believe in giving love, but I also believe in disciplining factors in love. It's not just give. It's I'm gonna give. And if you take and you run away, I'm gonna forgive you, right? But if you come back and after I forgive you and you continue to take and do the same thing, I'm going to have a conversation with you. It's going to be a loving conversation, but it's going to be one that allows you to know you can't fucking do that again. You just can't do it. So anyway, that's what was on my mind, is just psychologically evaluating myself, psychologically evaluating my patterns when it comes to love, when it comes to relationships in general, not just, relationships with me and a partner, but relationships when it comes to my friends. One thing that I also notice is I have friends who are emitting the same frequency instead of trying to raise their frequency.